Hey team, just wanted to send you a quick update from this past weekend. We met as a team on Saturday morning just to gather, connect, and just share some updates with you. It was a great time getting together, having a hot breakfast, connecting through prayer, sharing stories that are going on in our lives, and just being able to connect as a community. And it was great. Just wanted to give you a quick update on the things we talked about there and some goals going into 2025 that we're going to be hitting. But before I jump into that, and I'll just give you the Cliff Notes version from Saturday. God brought this word to me a couple months ago, and it's been something I kind of been sitting on, and just wanted to share that with you. Just a quick story. I grew up in small town Alabama. We started going to this church, and long story short, there was a new pastor there when we started, and he was younger, energetic, had this passion for reaching people for Jesus and being out in the community, meeting practical needs. Well, the church at the time when we started was about 20 to 30 people. And through his time of being there at the pinnacle, we were hitting almost 200 people, which for an area of 2 to 3,000 is a pretty large church. And so it's kind of unprecedented for this church that we were at. But it was so incredible. As things began to grow, people are coming in, and it's getting louder. There's more people there, more children there. There's marks on the walls, carpets getting messed up. The pews are getting, destroyed from the little kids. And that caused a tension between a certain group of people who didn't like the noise, who wanted things, to kind of remain the same. They disagreed with some of the stuff. And it caused that tension between them and the group who were like, hey, let's keep growing. Like, we want to see things change. We want to see people reached. So that tension kind of boiled over into this stereotypical business meeting, Southern Baptist business meeting, where this argument broke out between two elders in the business meeting. It continued through the hallway and out onto the front porch. And I remember standing there, hearing one of them, and loved both of these people. And one of the guys was like, I'm threatening to get a baseball bat out of his truck. And as a preteen, early teen, I was like, what in the world is going on? What is happening here? Needless to say, we ended up, changing churches not long after that. And eventually the people who didn't want to see, all this growth happening and their things broken and torn up because more people were in there, ended up pushing the pastor out. He left and went to another church and started thriving there. And this phrase that kind of came to me a couple of months ago of change is inevitable, progress is optional. And when I was thinking about that and thinking about this story, it was so evident that change was happening. God was moving. Things were changing. Things are getting dirty. Stuff's getting broken. It's not like it used to be. And the church at that point chose to not progress with the change. There are other stories I could share, and I'm sure that you've experienced things like this in your life where change has happened, change is going to happen, and people choose not to progress. I don't want us to be a place like that. I want to look at what God's doing, look at where He's guiding us and directing us, where the vision of the church is going. And I want us to do things to help us get there and to get to a place where, like Ted spoke about earlier this year and that we've talked about in our team is, preparing the nets. And this Luke 5 passage of, the nets overflowing, God doing something miraculous, and us being as ready as possible for that thing to happen. No, we'll never be able to contain what God is going to do. But what we can do is prepare ourselves, our systems, our processes, and things that we have going on so that when that change happens and when that growth happens, we're ready and we're ready to go for it. So that's kind of a snapshot of what we shared on the front end. And just want to talk about a few of the goals, and keeping this phrase in mind: change is inevitable, progress is optional. I just want to keep that at the forefront of this conversation here. So things have obviously changed at Parkview in the past couple years. New music team. We've been here going on 2.5 years now. Ted has come in. Tim has retired. Big change there. Change is going to happen. It's inevitable. But what we can do is decide as a group is to make progress towards that change and to decide to progress. So a couple of goals, 3 goals going into 2025 that I just want to bring you up to speed on and ask for your help in. First one is going to be just building the team. I would love to be at a place whenever we launch a new campus, whenever that is. Now, I don't know of any plans that are on the books for one to launch. But when that does happen, I want us to be in a place where we can send 12, 15 people from our team to specifically resource that campus and their worship team. That would be incredible to be able to do that without going in the deficit at some of our other locations, struggling to fill spots. I want us to be at enough of a depth that we can go and source this other campus. So would love your help. And if you know someone, if there's someone, a friend, acquaintance, somebody you've heard speak about it who is musical, encourage them to apply. I know sometimes it can be intimidating, but just want to encourage people to put themselves out there and take a risk. Look to grow this team to where we can resource the next campus. Second thing I want to talk through, I announced this in our email a couple weeks ago, but the Nashville number system. So this is a universal language that we can use to communicate while we're on stage and know the chord progressions, whether we're capoed, on the 13th fret and we're transposed, by 9 steps over here. And, so we know that, hey, if I call out this number, and you're playing in G shapes on the acoustic guitar, if I say 4, that's a C chord in what you're playing. Or if you're transposed and you're playing in C on the piano, then if I call out 4, that means the F chord. So no matter what we're transposed to or capoed on, everyone who's playing an instrument knows exactly what chord we're going to be playing. So we'll resource you more in that. We're going to bring you up to speed. And just a brief note, we're not making this change tomorrow. This is something where we're going to work on the back half of the year. Also, this third goal I'm going to talk to you about, we're not making the changes tomorrow, so don't sweat that you need to learn this stuff overnight. We're going to make progress over the next 5-6 months. That way, when we get to 2025, it doesn't feel like a big change at all. Third goal I just want to talk to you about briefly is an update to our rehearsal materials. So what we're going to be providing starting in January will be the AVL reference, the chord and number chart, and the lyric doc. Now, all of those things will be in the arrangement that we're going to do on the weekend. Instead of importing the rehearsal tracks from Multitracks or having Aaron build those out and import those and load those, we're going to resource you to be able to find where you can hone in those parts if you need to, if you can't pull it out of the AVL reference. We're going to give you the resources, talk to you about some tools you can use, so that you can go in and listen to the part. Whether that's a YouTube resource, whether that's a plugin in browsers, we'll be covering all of those things and navigating that together. And again, it's going to be an incremental thing that we'll kind of progress and resource along the way for the rest of this year. So those are a few things in mind. And again, just thinking about our systems and processes, making those sustainable. If we, bring in Campus 5, Campus 4, Campus 5, Campus 6 at some point, what are going to be the things that are sustainable that we can start implementing now that's going to set us up for success in the long term and be able to resource these campuses and the teams that are going to be a part of those campuses. So those are the updates. Just wanted to get those out to you. If you have any questions, then please feel free to reach out to us. Reach out to your campus worship pastor and talk to them about any of these. And we want this to be a conversation. We realize change, can be scary. We all deal with change differently. So let's just keep this a conversation and keep it going. And, by the time 2025 hits, I have no doubt that we'll be there. We'll be ready. I know you all can do it. You have great hearts for wanting to see people encounter God through music. You serve in your communities where you live and work and serve. It's just exciting being a part of this team, and just such a great group of people. Love being a part of it. Thank you so much for what you do, and we'll see you next time.